Send Help is the new Sam Raimi horror comedy film that stars Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. And let me tell you, it was so good to finally see another Sam Raimi film. When I heard that Sam Raimi was going to be making this, I was very excited because I think the last thing I saw from him was Doctor Strange, and I just did not like Doctor Strange. And I love Sam Raimi because Spider-Man 2 is honestly one of my favorite movies that he's ever done, and honestly favorite like superhero movie. So when I found out he was not just producing but also directing this film, I was completely sold. So welcome back to the channel, guys. This is going to be my non-spoiler review of Send Help. Starting off at the beginning of this film, you could very much tell it was a Sam Raimi film because there were so many close-up shots and how he really shoots his movies. I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely in a Sam Raimi film. In the beginning of the film, we really get to learn these two characters where Rachel McAdams is playing the employee and Dylan O'Brien is playing the boss. Like, this dynamic is going very well right off the jump. Rachel Adams' character, Linda Little, is the employee that is overworked, that is doing too much, and is just not respected in the workplace. Where Dylan O'Brien's character, Bradley Preston, is the new CEO as his dad stepped down, and he obviously is really enthralled into this new role, but obviously does not really respect anybody. He's very much the boss you do not want. You find this very early on, but Linda Little was supposed to be the new VP of the company, and because of Bradley, the new CEO, does not like Linda, she does not get the promotion. But instead, he decides to almost kind of get back at her and also just pretty much be a jerk, invites her to a trip for them to go into Thailand to essentially for him to make fun of her and to also be like, oh, prove me wrong that you deserve to be VP. But like, obviously we're setting up for the film. And as we're on that plane, the plane obviously crashes. It was a really good sequence, and we end up on the island. We find out that Linda Little is actually a Survivor enthusiast and loves watching and binge watching the show, that once she is on the island, she goes right into action and knows exactly what to do to survive. And of course, Dylan O'Brien's character is the rich CEO kid who's really not had to do anything for his entire life, so he is very much not sure of his surroundings and doesn't know how to survive. While they are stranded on the island, a majority of the film, we truly see how the power dynamics have changed. And essentially a really good representation of like once you rip away status and you just go back down to the humanity portion, like things really don't matter anymore, and it really comes down to either you're going to survive or you're not. And Dylan O'Brien's character really needs to learn that within this film. And let me say, Dylan O'Brien as an actor, honestly, both of them really did a good job in their roles. There were so many moments with Dylan O'Brien specifically, little quirks that his character kept doing that was just absolutely phenomenal. Now, it being a horror movie slash kind of comedy movie, there were some really nice horror moments. There's a moment in the film where they're going to be hunting for food. You're going to see this boar. It was an okay moment. The CGI was a little wonky, but at the end of it, it was still a very good sequence because the horror is still there. The psychological twists and turns within the movie is also really appreciative, where you're again seeing these power like kind of change, but also you don't really know what each character is thinking and what they're going to do next. And that really keeps you very much interested within this film. Now, with the third act being the big climax, and without spoiling anything, it really came to full fruition where we were finding out like, oh my God, like there were so many things in the background that we had no idea what was going on. And there were some really nice clues within the film that later on you look at it and you're like, wow, I really should have picked up on that. Now, the few complaints I do have about this film is I really wish they leaned a little bit more in with the psychological horror of it, even though it is, quote, a horror comedy movie. I just think there wasn't enough horror. And when a lot of that psychological moments were happening, they were really, really good, but I honestly wanted more. And near the end of the film, when we pretty much get the big reveal, like it was really nice to figure out the pieces and where this character was like, hey, you were manipulating this entire situation the whole time, which was really fun. I still was like, I wanted more. Like there wasn't enough. What I really did appreciate about this film is the overall symbolism from power dynamics, where you see them truly switch, where these characters are truly stripped of their status, and it really just comes down to humanity. Overall, Overall, though, do I recommend this movie? Absolutely. I do wish there was a little bit more horror, and I do wish there were a little bit more moments that were leaned on about the psychological portions of this film. But regardless, it is still very enjoyable, and I easily give this like a 7.5 out of 10. It is really good to see Sam Raimi directing again, and honestly, it not being a Marvel film. But as always, let me know your thoughts down below. Are you interested in going to see Send Help? Have you already? And as always, remember to like the video, and if you haven't already, for everything nerdy, remember to subscribe. Till next time.